Today I'm going to go over how to complete the Gale research activity, so let's go ahead and get started. The purpose of this activity is to assist students in mastering the SOLs that are listed here, but I'm going to go specifically over the essential skills. Today we're going to practice using internet resources, specifically an electronic database, to access information. We're going to focus our search by a particular topic. We're going to identify useful search terms and processes. We're going to combine search terms effectively by Boolean searches, and we're going to scan research information. So let's go ahead and get started. On the worksheet, you have 3 activities that you need to do, so I'm going to go through them step by step. The instructions are as follows. I will be guiding you through a series of activities using Gale, the database provided to us through Lynchburg City Schools Media Center. The topics and specific research criteria will be provided during this video. At the end of this activity, you are to provide the required information, and upon submitting this assignment in Google Classroom, you will be attaching 3 additional documents in Google Classroom, a copy of each of the articles that you've located for each practice activity. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that you will need to do is go to the Heritage High School homepage and access Gale. So once you've located the home page, go to Resources, scroll down until we find Media Center Resources, Heritage High School, and we're going to scroll down until we find the Database section. Click on Gale. In the event it asks you for a password, the password is schools. And here you are on Gale. Now, I've previously mentioned when we've utilized this system before that for some reason some of these specific databases are already selected for you, and we don't actually use those a lot. So to unselect them, you hit this box here, Select All. It selects them all, and then one more time and it deselects them. For the purpose of this activity, we're going to be using 3 of these databases each time we perform one of these practice activities. Those 3 databases include Expanded Academic ASAP, General 1 File, and General Reference Center Gold. It's important that you utilize those 3 specifically because I'd like for your results to net approximately the same results that are netted on this video. So let's go ahead and get started. I have selected those 3 databases, and we're going to complete the first practice activity, which focuses on isolating a topic. For this activity, what you need to do is answer the following questions. What is the result of using quotation marks in a search? You're going to provide the citation for a topic article, the URL for a topic article, and in addition to submitting this document in Google Classroom, you're also going to be submitting an attachment of the article that you have found that you provided the citation and URL for. So let's go ahead and go back to the database. Remember, I've already selected the 3 that I want to use. So for the purpose of Activity 1, the first thing that we're going to look up is the movement called All Lives Matter. So if you have never heard of that movement, you're welcome to stop this video and to do a little bit of research through Google. But I'm just going to continue on. So we're going to look up the movement All Lives Matter. You type it in like so, and then you hit search. Once Gale has went through all the databases that I've selected, now it's looking for articles that relate to the search I've selected, All Lives Matter. You'll notice that it found 712 magazines and 444 academic journals. When I scan down this page, I want to just get a preview of the types of articles that have been located. So I scan through the titles, and I'm just looking for a reference to All Lives Matter. So far, in the first couple articles, I haven't seen a reference to that in the title, but that's okay because the search criteria actually looks inside the articles, not just at the titles. But even still, as I'm looking at these titles, it strikes me that I don't think it's actually looking for the movement All Lives Matter. So let me explain what's happened here. When I actually selected this search criteria, it's looking for any article that has the word all in it, plus the word lives, plus the word matter. But it hasn't looked for that sequence of words in that order. So I'm actually going to change my search criteria now because I want to look for the actual movement called All Lives Matter. So to do that, what I do is I click up in my search bar, and now I'm going to put this phrase in quotation marks. When I put it in quotation marks, now what will happen is Gale will look for this phrase all together. For some reason it got rid of them. Not independently, but as a grouping of words. So it's going to look for all of this in this order. And so now I'm going to, Okay, so now that I've put that phrase in quotation marks, now I'm going to actually hit my search button. And I'm going to see if my results change. Now notice over here in my results section in this column on the right hand side that my results changed significantly and went down several hundred hits. That's because now the system is actually looking for this phrase all together in its entirety. And when you scroll down, you'll notice that I'll start to see that phrase possibly in titles grouped all together. So notice the change in my net results. Okay, so when you put quotation marks around a phrase, what it does is it isolates that phrase and actually looks for that phrase specifically in the title or in the documents when it's searching through these databases. So at this time, now we have a couple things that we need to do with this. I'm going to go back to this worksheet. We have to answer the question, what is the result of using quotation marks in a search? Find a citation for a particular article, find a URL for an article, and attach and at least download the article right now. So I'm going to go back to my results. The task is to find an article that actually relates, so I have quite a few. I'm going to go ahead, and I don't want to use like a book review and a brief article. I want to actually choose a full text article. So I've decided to choose this one for this activity. So I'm going to click on the title link, and it's actually going to take me to the article. So the first task that I have to do is put the citation into my document. So you'll notice over here on the right hand side there's a link for citation tools. When I click on that, this system automatically creates a citation for me. So what I would do is I can copy this citation. So I'm going to highlight it and copy it. And then I'm going to go back to my worksheet and I'm going to paste it in. Now, the next thing I have to do is put in the URL for this. Now, it just so happens that the URL is provided for me in my citation, but please pay very close attention here. In my citation, here's the URL. Now, the trick is that last period is not part of the URL. Okay, so when I actually copy and paste in that URL, I do not want to include that last period. I just want to isolate the actual link that I would use if I were going to try to find this on the internet. Now, to see if you actually did that correctly, once you paste it in there, I encourage you to copy it again, to open up a new tab, paste the URL in that you copied, and see if it actually goes to the document. If it does, then you know you did this correct. If it doesn't, then look at the end and see if by mistake you have inadvertently included some type of punctuation from the citation that should not go in the URL. And maybe now is a good time to just remind you that a citation is actually, it is a list of information given to us for the particular document that you found. It includes normally the author, the title of the article, the location in which it's printed, where it's accessed, possibly the access date, and the URL. And the URL specifically is the link on where you're going to find this on the internet. So I put in my citation, I put in my URL, I've got to answer this question, and I have to download a copy of this article because I actually have to submit it. So I'm going to go back up here, I'm going to close out of this, and now I have a couple different options for getting this article. I've noticed here that in this column I can actually send this article to my Google Drive. So that's an option. Sometimes you can download these articles, so there'll be a download button there, and sometimes a download button will appear here at the top. If you download it, make sure you pay particular attention to where it's retrieved so that you can actually submit it in Google Classroom. And if you need help with that, let me know. What you're going to be doing again is submitting the worksheet, the Gale Research Practice Worksheet, as well as a copy of this article. So I can help you with that if need be. Let's continue on to practice activity 2. On practice activity 2, we're going to be concentrating on narrowing down a topic, and particularly we're going to be using Boolean searches. All right, for this activity, we have to do the following things. We have to answer the question, what is the result of using the Boolean marker in a search? We have to provide a citation and a URL for the article that I found, as well as attach a copy of the article to this assignment when I submit it in Google Classroom. So let's go ahead and move back over to Gale. I want to go back to the home page if I can, just be easier. All right, so here we are. Notice that some of those databases are selected, and I don't want those. So remember, we select all and then deselect. We're going to select 3 particular databases for this assignment: Expanded Academic ASAP, General 1, and General Reference Center Gold. Now, for the purpose of this activity, for Practice Activity 2 on the worksheet, I'm going to ask you to look up Hairspray. You may not know this, but Hairspray was a play that was produced on Broadway several years ago, and it was very, very popular. So let's go ahead and type in the word Hairspray. It's only one word, so I don't have to use quotation marks. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to look at my net results. Bringing a cannon to school, the ultimate politically incorrect educational experience. That doesn't seem like it has anything to do with the play. Build the Tar Branch, Part 4, Backdrop, Lighting, and Scenery for the HO Scale Winston-Salem Southbound Project. Maybe that has something to do with the play. Oprah's blonde hair is out of this world. Sally Hansen. I have a feeling that this isn't actually looking for Hairspray, the Broadway musical. It's actually looking for the word hairspray in any article, including like women's hairspray, or possibly the play. So what I need to do now is do a Boolean search so that I'm actually looking for Hairspray, the musical. Now I can do this a couple different ways, but for the purpose of this training, what I'm going to do is have you click up in the search bar, and what I want to do is I want to find Hairspray in any article, and I want to look for the word Broadway. That way I know that I'm looking specifically for that musical on Broadway. And that's my Boolean search. A Boolean search is whenever you use the conjunctions and, but, or nor. So now when I hit search, it's going to look for the word Hairspray and Broadway. And now notice the change in my results. Okay. So now most of the hits that I have actually something to do with that Broadway play. But I still have a lot of results, and that's way too many. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to narrow this search down to look for articles that have been written about Broadway, let's say just in the last 5 years. So pay attention to my net results. I'm going to customize the date range down. I'm going to click here. And I'm going to back up, and I'm going to look for articles published since 2013, and I'll go to January, up until today. So notice how I changed my date range, and now I hit search. And when I do, notice how my net results have changed significantly. A lot of times when you perform research, your teachers are going to want you to look for articles that are more recent, so you're getting most up-to-date information. So now we have narrowed down our search by terms and by date, and I'm just going to pick one of these. I'm going to click on it. And remember, I have 3 things to do. I have to provide a citation, so I go to Citation Tools. I have to make sure I include the URL, so make sure that you're taking that period off of there that's provided in the citation when you do that. And then finally, I actually have to submit a copy. So I can either download this in PDF form, or I can send it to my Google Drive. So go ahead and complete activities 1 and 2, and for activity 3 you can go to the next video.